Hello everyone, this is Clay with DigiFactors Animation. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone watched my latest cartoon I posted, and uh, you're probably wondering how I did all that. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to open up the true power of Muvizu, and that is with green screen, like you see right here in what I have now. I have a green screen area with some models of an airplane and some characters. Okay, so first thing what I want to tell you is when you're doing green screen, depending if what kind of video you're making. Now, if you're doing something where it involves walking and that, then you can just put it flat on the ground, everything flat on the ground. Okay, but if you're doing something like airplane or spaceships or something like that in the green screen, you want it like in the air, so that way you can create different angle shots, stuff like that. So different angle shots. Or let's say like if you want to go animate your camera, you want to have your camera animated where it goes past underneath the airplane and then have it spin around like well like so. You can do that. Or you can just like let's say you can do this. So you can even animate the airplane moving just by moving your camera like that and then have it where the airplane is flying by. So the idea of keeping it in midair gives you many possibilities of creating camera effects. So yeah. Okay, so for the character standing in the air like that, these are on platforms, and I created these two platforms out of the square and the abstract category of Muvizu. And I just enlarged them and flattened them. And then I put them in keyframe mode, along with the airplane is also in keyframe mode. That way I can put them together. You can see they're kind of like inside of each, the platform is inside of the airplane. Well, mostly in Muvizu, if you try to put two objects together, they'll just bounce away from each other, and that's because of friction. So when you put two objects in keyframe mode, that turns off that off that turns off the friction. Sorry about that. And you'll be able to stick two objects together, and then you can lock them into place. And that's what I did here for these airplanes and for the character mostly, because you could have it clicked on, could be stood on the platform. He could stand on that platform. But for the planes, I had them collect on the physics. I had can be stood on unclicked and just keep it floating in the air. And the reason why that helps you put your characters inside of your airplane or any car or whatever your kind of video you're making. So once I did that, I put the character into setting position. So if I open up my timeline, you can see he's in this setting position, and you can put him right inside of the airplane like so. Okay. All right. And another thing is your cameras. You want to find a good angle for your shots, and it's most important. Angles are important. So I made an angle for right here, which you can see it like right about there. So that's what the camera sees, just like that, for that character. And then I made two more cameras for the angles to shoot only this guy, and a camera over here for this guy. Okay. And also on cameras, I don't know how many cameras you like to use in your project, but I will say this. If you use too many cameras on whatever you're doing, having a lot of cameras open will slow you down. It will slow will slow movies down, and everything will seem real laggy, and that's because of all the cameras. So I only use 6 cameras. That's good for me. And shoot, you can only use one camera, and I'll tell you why. Let's just say we don't have all those cameras, but only one. Okay. So you make one shot of that character, and you want to do another shot of this character. So let's just say we started off this shot for this character right here. Okay. And what I did was I'll move that part in the timeline. Well, just move this right here, that part in the timeline, and I'll do a camera cut. Okay, I'll do a camera cut to make that camera turn on to record that guy. Okay. Now, once I do that, once I record that character, I'll move to the end of that part. Okay, and then I'll move my timeline over. And then I'll do another camera cut here, and then I'll move the camera over here to this guy and only film him. Now, that's the thing. If you, let's just say like you just do 2 camera cuts, that's fine. You can, let's see, that's fine. You can do 2 scenes with one, 2 camera cuts with 1 scene or whatever. But if you make your scenes way too long, it's going to cause problems in your rendering. Your computer won't recognize the code of your video, and then you have to try to find a way of decoding it. And that, if you make it too long, okay, so your computer wouldn't recognize the video. A lot of times that happens to me. But if you keep your videos if you do it in separate shots like this, create a camera cut and you end it right there, and then you'll move your timeline down to right there maybe, and then you'll kind of like take the beginning of that timeline and put it right there, and then you'll create another camera cut, and then you can move your cameras around, the camera around if you want to just use 1 camera. Okay, and that will keep things going fast. So with 1 camera, you can do a lot of things real fast. But I just like using a lot of my 6 cameras. Just don't go over 6. That's all I can say. Depending how fast your computer is. Me, I have a fast computer. I bought one of the latest RTX graphics card, and that thing cost me almost $1,000. So yeah. So it is important to keep your shots after you make that shot, render it, then move your timeline down, do another camera shot, then do your animation, and then render it, and then you're just working your way down the timeline. You're just going to work your way down the timeline. That'll keep each shot separate, and you can put them together in your movie editor or whatever you use. Me, I use HitFilm Pro. Okay. Okay, and that's pretty much it for that. Now these are props for the characters. Okay, these planes, these are props for the characters. And I'm going to show you how to make other props with characters made into them. That way you can animate the character and the prop at the same time. Because if you remember that whenever you try to animate a car, you got a Muvizu character, the Muvizu character won't go with a car. And you can't animate the movements of the character without, doing any kind of actions or walking or something like that. So, now on the propeller, that is a animated video that I made with Spriter Pro, and Virtual Dub, and I'll show that in a later video. Okay, so let's move over to this side. Okay, now you can see I got moving platforms here, and these right here I didn't use. These aren't part of the shot. I only did that in order to cover up green gaps or keep any kind of green parts of the green screen showing in my video. So I did it like that. Okay, so here I have a green screen wall. That will hide what's behind his from these shots so you don't accidentally shoot those in your shots. And then it'll hide this shot from this shot so that way you won't accidentally get those in your shot as well. So let's go over to the other side. This is where all my magic happens right here. Okay, as you can see, I got 2 airplanes. Now these airplanes are props with the characters in them. You can see the characters in them. I made I made a prop for to be a part of the model when I imported them. Okay, and over here I did another platform, invisible platform for the character to stay on. So I put them underneath the wing right here because I want to make the illusion of him hanging on, hanging off the tail end of this airplane because he fell out of his airplane when he looped around the red one. So in order to do that, I had to do an action where his hands are up in the air, and that's in the law category. So his hands are up in the air. Now from this angle, it doesn't look like he's hanging off. He just got his hands up, standing underneath the airplane. But the illusion of him hanging off the airplane is pretty much relies on the angles of your shot. So what I done was move around and find a good position on how I wanted it to make it look like he's hanging off that airplane. Just like that. This is a good angle. So I put a camera in that angle, as you can see, right there. And it looks like he's hanging off the tail end of that airplane. Okay. So when I rendered the shot, okay, over here, you can see where the background ends right there, squares off, cuts off. So I had to time it. So when I got right about here, I made the video. Okay, so that's pretty much my window of animating. So that way I don't get the end of the texture or the background coming in. So yeah, it relies on timing. Sorry, folks, I'm still half asleep. I just woke up not too long ago. So yeah, so I did it like that, and then I made that video shot to where it starts right here. See that? And then when I got to that right in here where the camera only sees that part, that's when I started uh, making the video. So yeah, that's how that. Now for the backgrounds, let me take this. For the backgrounds, I created two backdrops, the ground planes, two of them. And then on this one, I added my textures. Okay, I added my textures like so. And for the animation, on the angle, I put 24.0%, and then the speed, I put 1.0%. So that's the slowest. That's for the first backdrop. This is the backdrop. You want it for that first backdrop. Now the second backdrop, I created clouds, and then I put it in float in the air and could be stood on. Okay, and for its animation, I did the same thing, the same angle, 24.0%, and the speed is slightly faster, which is 4.0%. And I put it over the backdrop, and this is my foreground. So I put it right over it. That's why I had it in float in the air. And that will create your parallax effect, or the scrolling effect. Okay? And I try to use shadow but for the clouds, but the shadows, they just didn't seem to work. And I kind of like try to adjust them a little bit. It didn't work at all. I even tried to adjust the sharpness in the shadows in your environment, and it just uh, didn't work as well. It just makes it too dark. That's just too much. So I just kept it clicked off, like so. Okay, so that's how I did that part. Now for the other part, the vertical flight, not the vertical, I mean the horizontal flight, where the plane is flying in that position. So I started it off like this, okay, and then I'll keyframe it in the starting position like that, okay. Once I add my keyframes, um, I didn't want it to go too fast, so what I done was I'll put like in the beginning of that part of the timeline, which I put let me get back over here. So I kept it in that angle. So, and I put it over here. So and I'll put my keyframe there, and I'll just move it not too close. The closer you get them, the faster your animation will be. But the further apart, the slower it will be. So I would add a keyframe there and a keyframe there, and then I'll move it, creating that animation of that plane flying by or flying in. Okay, okay. And that's how I did that part. Now, I'm going to show you how to make your green screens work for you. Okay? Alright, so I already made this shot right here. Okay? I made this shot and I made a sky shot in Cartoon Animator 4 and some clouds in Cartoon Animator 4. And those are, let me see where you at. And those are right here. This is the sky I'm going to use. I created this with Cartoon Animator 4, scrolling, and also some clouds. The clouds I used a transparent background. Okay, and then I took everything and imported it into HitFilm Pro. So let me open up that, and let's create a new. We'll start editing. So let's import our our shots. So I'll start with the sky. Okay, and I'll drag my sky into the timeline. I'm gonna click yes. Now we're going to animate everything within this. We're not going to do everything in the editor's timeline. We're going to do it inside of this video, and we do that by making it a I can't say that word. Make it a composite. I can't say the word. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So we'll clip it up. We'll make a composite shot. There we go. Composite shot. I just had a brain fart. Sorry about that. Then we'll click OK. So now we're inside of the properties of this video. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our airplane shot in front of this. So let's go ahead and import our airplane shot, which is right here. Okay. And I'm going to put it right over the sky like that. Alright, now we go into effects. Now you'll usually find it in presets and under 2D effects. Let's see, scroll down until you find green screen right there. Or you can search it and it'll pop right up. So once we find it, we'll grab it and drag it into the airplane shot, the Muvizu shot, like so. So let's play that. There we go, right there. See how that works? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like angle it like this. Now right here it shows where the animation ends at, and also make it look like your plane is coming out from nowhere. So we don't want that. So we kind of like want to bring it down like this where you don't see that, like so. So right here we want the plane to kind of level out. So we'll go over here in the properties and we're going to go to transform. Okay, and then we're going to click position, and rotate. Okay. Now, once I get the airplane at this position, I want to make it. Let's see. We'll move this over a little bit like that. So as it comes up, like that. So, and then we'll move it like that. Let's see how that works. Perfect. So, and that's how I did the animation on that part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the foreground, the clouds in the front. So we're going to go back and we're going to import it. And we'll get it to clouds. And then we'll put it right over our Muvizu shot. Now everything, the background is in gray. But don't worry, we can fix that. Just right click on that shot, go to blend, and then we're going to put lighten. And that takes out the background. Okay, so we're going to move that right here, and then we're going to kind of enlarge them a little bit. So let's click open its properties and go to transform. Okay, and we're not going to animate this. We're just going to enlarge it. We're going to scale it about like that. And that's pretty much it on that. Now watch. Let's go back and now let's just watch how that looks. Okay. And then we just save it or you export it or whatever. We'll save it like that. This is how I do things in my cartoons, my videos. Okay, well, that's pretty much it on how I did that video. I hope you find it useful, you can learn from it. I'm sorry if I might have kind of got tongue twisted here and there. I just woke up not too long ago. I'm still half asleep, coffee ain't kicking in and stuff like that. But like I said, even though I hope this helps you understand how green screen works and how your camera angles are important and how to separate your shots in the timeline and make individual videos where you can put them together. If you make them too long, it's going to cause problems for you. Well, that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed. And until next time, have a blessed day.